Gill Coliseum on the campus of Oregon State University in Corvallis, Oregon, for the Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championships. Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Stone. Well, there's nothing like a sizzling conference championship to get you ready for the live fire of a pressure-packed regional. And then if they have any nerves at all left, they've somehow got to take them to the NCAAs. This Pac-10 conference has never lacked for individual quality gymnastics. And here in 1996, that's no different. In fact, 6 of the 7 teams we're going to see tonight are ranked in the nation's top 20. The highest-ranked team, the host Beavers of Oregon State. Then comes Arizona. UCLA is ranked 9th. Arizona State 11th. Washington 16th. And the Stanford Cardinal ranked number 19. Working with me on the telecast tonight is the former UCLA Bruin, Maura Driscoll. And Maura, in the 9-year history of the Pac-10 championships, only 2 teams have ever won it. This has been a little more than a dual meet.
And those 2 teams are UCLA and Oregon State. UCLA won it 6 times and Oregon State won it 3 times. This really kicks off the postseason in collegiate gymnastics, and it's their version of March Madness, and it doesn't get much better than this. UCLA won the title last year, taking the crown away from Oregon State. This year, Oregon State is the highest-ranked team in the meet, and they want that championship back. The teams are 2 totally different teams. Oregon State is a team led by specialists. We're actually going to see about 8 different gymnasts competing for Oregon State, whereas UCLA is led by 1 or 2 key all-around performers. Now, both teams will see competition from Arizona and Arizona State, but as always, close teams, the team that makes the fewest amount of mistakes, will probably take home the title.
You know, it's interesting, Maura, in the race for the all-around, UCLA has captured it 6 times in the 9-year history of the NCAA, I should say the Pac-10 championships, and 2 of the women who have won it are here tonight in uniform.
They are, and not only are they teammates in Westwood, California, they were teammates together on the Canadian national team. Sophomore Stella Ume and junior Leah Homa. Stella won the Pac-10 all-around championship last year and 3 individual events. Leah Homa actually was the Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year last year and won the title in 1994. Freshman Heidi Hornbeek from the University of Arizona is having an amazing freshman campaign. She has certainly earned her spot among the nation's top all-arounders. This is her first chance to make an imprint in the Pac-10 conference. From the Stanford University, sophomore Carrie Monahan is a major reason why this team is doing extremely well all season long. From Arizona State University, sophomore Megan Wright is also coming off an amazing freshman campaign. She finished 2nd in the all-around at last year's Pac-10s, missing the title by just .075 to UCLA's Stella Ume, so you can bet those 2 will be going at it again tonight.
You know, Maura, you have taken part in these NCAA championships. You know what's at stake. Not only a championship, perhaps a trip to the regionals, and then on to the NCAAs. We'll be back in a moment. We welcome you to Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon, the Women's Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships. Now, the format for the competition tonight, there'll be 7 rotations. 3 teams will sit out each rotation. The team event, 6 gymnasts per apparatus. 5 of the highest scores will count in the all-around competition. Chock full. 15 competitors will slug it out for the title of 1996 Pac-10 all-around champion. To the bars, this is Stanford's Carrie Monahan.
I'll tell you, Phil, as a sophomore, she is one of their top all-arounders. She ranks among the top 8 in the Pac-10 with a score of 39.475. Having a tremendous season. Here comes her first release move. It's called a Hindorf, a free hip to a reverse hecht. Stanford is a team that could surprise a lot of people here at the Pac-10 championships. They have never finished higher than 4th, and I'm telling you, they look poised to do a little bit better than that. She's setting up for her dismount. Toe on front. Not very difficult dismount, but a clean routine, and she caught her release move. Stanford is doing very well on this event so far. And as I said, they have been putting up some very big scores all season long. We'll take another look at her dismount here. She leads into it doing a giant swing. This is just a toe on front, not very difficult in terms of value and difficulty, but a nice routine for Carrie.
Now, Stanford has tied or broken every record in individual events here in the 1995-96 season. And Oregon State is on the vault, and this is Christy Snyder, who earlier this year, just about a week ago, had a perfect 10 on the vault.
And Oregon State is an extremely strong vaulting team. They're ranked number 5 in the nation. She'll be doing a handspring front in the pike position. We'll see a lot of these tonight. Oh, she over-rotated, had to put her hands down. That is a 5/10 deduction. I don't think we'll see a perfect score on that one. OSU, though, has all of the advantages tonight. They're here in their home arena, the highest-ranked team. The crowd is cheering for them. And let's see exactly what happened here. That's good push off of the horse. Nice body position in the air, but really over-rotated it and had to put her hands down. This is a front flipping motion, a blind move. You really don't know that the ground is there until it hits your feet, so that's why it's really difficult to land.
On the bars a moment ago, Stanford's Kerry Monahan had a 9.775, and Christy Snyder's first vault, 9.225.
Now the gymnasts are allowed to compete 2 vaults, and they can keep the score of the best vault, and they are allowed to compete the same vault twice. So we'll see another handspring front pike. Oh, and that time she tried to overcompensate, and that's why she landed a little short. But definitely a better vault, but landed straight-legged, trying to really anticipate the landing. Now that is the major difficulty with this vault, because you're flipping forward, completely blind. Watch this. She's flipping. She knows the ground's there, so she tries to open up. She does it a little too early and has to under-rotate and step back.
A 9.5 for Christy Snyder.
At least she saved it. She kind of recovered pretty well, but disappointing knowing that she can execute that vault perfectly.
Here is her teammate, Anne-Marie Vasallo, a junior from Willingboro, New Hampshire. Oregon State had a terrific year, 14-4 on the season, but this year they have really been a team of specialists.
They certainly have. They have most of their gymnasts do 1 or 2 events. You see the same vault there, a handspring front pike. Nicely executed, but she had to take a big hop on the landing. Now in her second attempt here, she will be focusing on making that landing better, and that's what head coach Jim Turpin was just telling her. We're looking for the push off of the horse. Nice body position. And you can see she opened it up anticipating the ground, but still got too much momentum going forward. Nice body position in the air, opens up, got a hop on the landing.
Well, her first vault for Anne-Marie Vasallo, a 9.85.
A very good score for that vault. Obviously, technically speaking, from the judges' perspective, the only thing wrong was the landing.
Now, the indication from Anne-Marie is she is set to go for her second vault here in these Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships.
Remember, what the judges are looking for are height off of the horse, distance away from the horse, and a good solid landing. Same vault. Again, she did the same thing as her teammate, anticipating the landing, wanting to nail it. And in doing so, she had to sit it down.
Well, uncharacteristic of Christy Snyder and Anne-Marie Vasallo to misfire on their vaults.
Now watch this. She's waiting for the ground to come, and she opens up early, and so she had to sit it down.
Well, a 9.3 on her second vault, so her first one will score a 9.85.
You know, Phil, Oregon State averages over 5,000 fans per home meet, and they have the home crowd on their side, and that has to help. I mean, this puts them in a great position to take the title back from UCLA.
Here's Amanda Turco of Oregon State. She is the final Oregon State vaulter.
And she is ranked number 15 in the nation on the vault. 14, excuse me. We'll see the same vault. Lots of distance. Hop on the landing, same thing. Again, remember, it's very difficult to land because you don't see the ground until your feet hit it. She's averaging a 9.9 on this event. A little leg separation on the pre-flight. Opens it up, but has to take a big hop on the landing. About a 2/10 deduction there. Again, lots of distance, and that's what the judges want to see. Airtime, airtime, airtime.
A 9.8 for Turco. We have yet to see an Oregon State vaulter hit a landing.
Let's see if she does it this time. Oh, that's the way to do it. She knew where that ground was.
And the hometown crowds roar in approval for Amanda Turco, who posts a 9.9. And you talk about sticking your landing.
Oh, my.
A 9-9 for Oregon State's Amanda Turco.
The other thing that Oregon State has on their side, as well as California in this meet, is the Olympic rotation order, the preferred rotation order, starting out on vault. That's the way you want it to be.
Now the Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championships are underway in Corvallis, Oregon. We'll return in a moment. Along with Maura Driscoll, I'm Phil Stone. We welcome you back to the Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championships. UCLA is on the beam. And here is one of their best, Leah Homa. And
watch her mount. This is her signature move, the Homa flares. She introduced them to the world in the 1989 World Championships. You know, Phil, we were just talking about preferred rotation orders. Oregon State starting on vault, UCLA on beam, not very preferable. This is such a hard event to start on. The balance beam levels the playing field in the sport of gymnastics. Here comes her first acrobatic series. Back handspring layout, step up, back handspring way off to the side. You could see it after her first layout. UCLA is having a tough time on the balance beam, and Leah Homa practically never misses. So that's very uncharacteristic.
Leah Homa, part of a UCLA Bruin team, which a year ago finished 4th at the NCAAs.
And there's another one of her signature moves, the Homa flip. Leah knows what it's like to win this Pac-10 championships. She was the all-around champion in 1994. And last year's Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year. Having some difficulties, wobbling a little here. Keep in mind, there are 4 events going on at once. The crowd is going crazy. The band is booming. And it's really hard to stay focused on this event. And there's her dismount. A disappointing performance for Leah. And she's not happy. She is such an intense competitor, Phil. And she's walking away from her teammates, actually, because she just needs her own time for now.
Now you look at the Gymnast of the Year dating back to the first Pac-10 championships. Tanya Service of UCLA. It has really been a Bruin domination.
Now keep in mind the balance beam is 4 inches wide. So if you're out of alignment at all, which is what happens right here. See, her shoulder dropped. And so therefore she was going off to the right side and she just couldn't save it. A 5/10 deduction when you fall off of any apparatus.
Now that's hardly the way Leah Homa wanted to start this 1996 run at an all-around championship at these Pac-10s.
And I can't stress enough how difficult it is to start on the balance beam. I mean, it's just not where you want to begin the Pac-10 championships. But it's the luck of the draw, and the Pac-10 teams take turns on what rotation order they will compete in. So UCLA has had the preferred rotation order in their day, and with 6 Pac-10 titles, it's clear that they know how to do it.
Absolutely, they know how to do it. Now UCLA, they have 2 bona fide superstars, Leah Homa and this lady right here, Stella Ume. She's the defending Pac-10 champion on the beam. Sophomore out of Mississauga, Ontario.
She's also the West Regional champion on the balance beam, and she finished 2nd in the nation, the NCAA runner-up on the balance beam. So we're looking at the best in the nation, really up there. Stella also finished 3rd all around at the NCAA championships. And like Leah, not only great in collegiate gymnastics, but one of the best gymnasts in the world.
And just wait until you see this young lady on the floor a little bit later in our telecast.
She is amazing. Watch this big mount. She does a round-off layout step out onto the beam. She has such dramatic, sharp, concise movements. Here's her big 4-pass series. Oh, I can't believe that. These are gymnasts that never miss, and we've seen the 2 top gymnasts in the Pac-10 fall off beam. Again, it's so hard to stay focused when there's so much else going on. Again, you have to recover when you have a fall like that. You still have the rest of your beam routine to go through. So it's even more important to come back strong. Trying to keep her focus. Another tumbling pass, cartwheel layout. That one was right on. Looks like UCLA is a little off their game. Stella, of course, wants to defend her Pac-10 title. Counting a fall, it's going to be tough. Not holding back, though, on any of her jumps. And here she'll set up for her big dismount. She finishes with a round-off double tuck. Don't see many of those, to a really nice landing.
Now UCLA head coach Valerie Condos has to be somewhat concerned after the first rotation for UCLA on the beam. And Stella's wobbled a moment ago.
Here's what happened. She does a back handspring layout, step it with her feet together. Back handspring. Now her back foot slips off, so she's not able to get the push. It's possible to make that skill if you can't push with your back foot. Very disappointing.
Moment ago, Stella's teammate Leah Homa scored a 9.1 on the beam.
Now UCLA having a little team meeting here. They know that they need to have career performances on the next 3 events if they hope to leave tonight the Gill Coliseum as the Pac-10 champs.
Yeah, leading that team meeting in there somewhere was a young lady by the name of Megan Fenton. We'll get to Stella Ume's score when we return to Gill Coliseum in Corvallis. You back. Great crowd on hand here tonight at Corvallis, Oregon. We are at Gill Coliseum for the Women's Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships. And just a few moments ago, rotation 1 ended with Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek on the floor. And just take a look at this.
As a freshman, she has established herself as one of the top all-arounders in the Pac-10. A full twisting double back to a perfect landing. Very difficult first tumbling pass. She has the Pac-10's highest all-around score to date on the year, a 39.525. Arizona is having a tremendous season. Their goal is to get back to nationals, and this girl right here is really going to help them. A little front tumbling in her second pass. She actually has stress fractures in her back, and on the floor exercise, you gotta believe she's feeling them, but she looks pretty happy out there. Big smile on her face. The floor exercise is about showmanship and personality, and she certainly has a lot of that. She's going to finish her routine with a 2.5 twist. It's difficult to land because it's forward. You can't really see it. There it is, 2.5 twist. Pretty nicely done. And that was good for a huge 9.95. Excuse me, 9.85.
After one rotation in the all-around, it is Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek leading over Stanford's Carrie Monahan and Katie Fitzpatrick. Amy Slack in the number 4 spot after one rotation in the team standings. Boy, look at Oregon State. They've won it 3 times, and after one rotation, they are out in front. And speaking of Oregon State, this is Amy Slack out of Pittsburgh, California.
And you know, we spoke of Oregon State being a team of specialists. This is actually their only all-arounder. As a sophomore, she competes all 4 events. A beautiful Tkachev, so much height. And there's another hecked over. Oregon State is phenomenal on the uneven bars, ranked number 5 in the nation. And every single one of their gymnasts are performing extremely well tonight. Amy is so clean, tight lines, tight legs. And the crowd goes wild.
Now 2 other teams here tonight tried to get her, Cal and Stanford. She said, I'm going north to Oregon State. And boy, what a bars routine.
They are going to be very difficult to beat tonight. Let's take another look at her dismount. Lots of flipping and lots of twisting here. Difficult to do. She sees the ground, stands it up, has to scrunch down a little bit, but she is excited.
Yeah, there is the sophomore from Pittsburgh, California.
And Phil, the crowd is booing the score, but I see a 9-9 and a 9-8-5, and I think I'll take that.
Yeah, there's what you were talking about, ranked 5th in the NCAA.
Did you stick your dismount?
They are really strong on this event.
Her score, a 9.875.
She was named OSU's most valuable gymnast in 1995. And head coach Jim Turpin is famous for finding the diamond in the rough. They were the only team in the top 20 to recruit Amy Slack.
Here's Renee Runyon. Her career best, a 9.975 out of Los Gatos, California.
And you will see why OSU is one of the top ranked bars teams in the country. Swinging very well. Full twisting to Kachev. Very difficult to do. Flipping, twisting, releasing, regrasping. And there's another one going the other direction. Unbelievable. OSU has it all. High-flying release moves, execution, nice skill, and her dismount. Oh, boy. Toe on front with a half in the laid-out position to a perfect landing. They are in the zone, Phil, and the crowd is going berserk.
Amy Slack and Renee Runyon have just done the equivalent of hitting back-to-back Grand Slams.
Look at that. That's a full twisting to Kachev. So difficult to do. That was her second in the routine, as if one weren't difficult enough. Watch this dismount. This is what the crowd went wild about. She does a toe on front with a half twist in the laid out position, sees the ground, stands it up, really didn't budge.
And again, the crowd is booing the score. It's a 9.875 for Renee Runyon.
And Renee is not even the final competitor on the uneven bars. And as the lineups go in collegiate gymnastics, usually the routines get better as the last person comes up, and the scores usually get better as well. So if this was the second to last score, that can only mean good things for Heather Bennett, who is the final competitor for OSU.
Yeah, Heather's a senior, Maura, out of Eugene. Oregon State grabbed her right out of Oregon Duck territory. Earlier this year, she had a perfect 10 against Cal. Here she is, Heather Bennett.
Renee and Heather are the two seniors on the squad, and oh, but she's going over. That's a mistake, I believe, but she recovered really well. There's a free hit. There's a giant full and a half to a front giant, and here comes a big release move, a Jaeger in the pike position. That's an E move, the most difficult skill you can do in gymnastics. But Heather and Renee, this is the only event they compete as seniors, a team of specialists. And a double layer, huge dismount, and she nailed it.
Now Heather Bennett, she has scored 9, 8 or better 8 times this year, and Jim Turpin loves it.
I'll tell you, when you get this kind of momentum on your home turf, it's really hard to not do extremely well, and they are doing amazingly well.
There you see head coach Jim Turpin in his 11th year getting his team of specialists together.
Now watch this dismount. It's a double layout, 2 flips backwards in a completely stretched position. The reason why this is so difficult is because you can't pull your legs over to help your rotation, and she just stuck it. Unbelievable. She can't believe it either.
Yeah, the only perfect 10 bar scores in 1996 came from Georgia's Lori Strong. She did it twice this year. The lady you just saw, Heather Bennett, did it once, and Karen Litchie of Georgia accomplished it. Now Bennett's score, a 9.7. We're coming back in a moment. Welcome back to the Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championship. We're heading to Arizona State, number 6 in the country on the floor. And this is Megan Wright.
Megan Wright came in second in the all-around last year at the Pac-10 Championships. And she finished third on this event at the 95 Pac-10s.
Now she comes into her sophomore year with an unenviable, yet I suppose enjoyable challenge of having to duplicate or surpass the heroics of her freshman year.
She really had an excellent freshman year. Here comes her first tumbling pass. A double layout. I think there's only about 2 or 3 gymnasts in the Pac-10 that compete that. Very difficult to do. It is an E move, the most difficult in gymnastics. Megan Wright graduated high school a little early to join the Sun Devil squad. She graduated in December and started competing in January of last year. They actually have another gymnast, a local gymnast from Scottsdale, who did the same thing this year. It's kind of John Speeney's thing, I think. Get them out of high school early and bring them on. Floor exercise really embodies everything that gymnastics is all about. Power, precision, grace, expression, all rolled into one. She finishes with a double tuck. Took a few steps on the landing there. A solid performance, though, for Megan Wright.
There is John Speeney, her head coach. 16 years at Arizona State.
Now let's take a look at her first tumbling pass. This is extremely difficult. You really don't see too many in collegiate gymnastics. A double layout, 2 flips, a little bit low there. She kind of had to crunch her legs there. You could see, though, that she was higher on the second layout, which is pretty impressive. And she finishes her routine strong with a double tuck, a D element worth 1/10 of bonus, lots of height. Few steps on the landing there, but not a big deal deduction-wise.
A year ago as a freshman, she was all Pac-10 first team. She's a sophomore now out of Mesa, Arizona. She loves to watch and play basketball, and she says she loves to play football, too.
Come on.
Here is Washington's Kara Kudilkova.
Clara is from the Czech Republic. She was on the national team there for 4 years. She's one of their top all-arounders for Washington. You can sense the European flair, especially on the balance beam. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Nice acrobatic series. Clara was the Pac-10 Gymnast of the Week for the week of February 13th. And she owns the 6th highest all-around score in the Pac-10 this year, 39.325.
Tremendous international competition, Maura. Germany, France, Austria. She's been to Spain, Canada. I think she competed in Hungary and Belgium.
And if there's any way, any event that international experience helps you, it's right here on the balance beam. She doesn't seem to be bothered by what else is going on, the floor music, the band music, the crowd, the other events. Washington, like UCLA, is starting on the balance beam. Difficult spot. And a double tuck dismount. A really nice routine for Clara.
There is Washington coach Bob Levesque. Incidentally, a moment ago, we watched Arizona State's Megan Wright on the floor. Her score was a 9.675. Now, into the second rotation. On the beam, Connolly had a 9.65, and on the floor, Arizona State's Megan Wright, as I just told you, a 9.675.
Clara looks happy about her beam performance. And we'll take a look at her dismount. She does a round off into a double tuck, nice and high, and a really good landing. And the team is thrilled. Head coach Bob Levesque has been at Washington for 6 years, and he's turned this program around.
Clara Kudilkova, her score a 9.8. So while the Huskies huddle, we'll step away. Coming back in a moment. We welcome you back to the Women's Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships. We are at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon. And as the competition rolls on, we look at the team scores. After 2 rotations, it's Oregon State, 98.225. Keep in mind, with 3 teams sitting out each rotation, not every team has completed 2 rotations thus far, so the scoring becomes a little more difficult. And in the all-around, Amy Slack of Oregon State with a 19.6. Again, she is the only one in contention who has completed 2 rotations. Candace Kwok of Cal is in the number 2 spot. As you look down, Heidi Hornbeek, Kudilkova, Lonahan, Fitzpatrick, and Arizona State's Katie Freeland. And California on the bars, Candace Kwok.
She's a junior, and she has been their top all-arounder for the past 3 years. Nice pirouette right on the top of the bar. She's a very clean gymnast who was voted Pac-10 Gymnast of the Decade for Cal. We haven't seen a big release move yet. Just an overshoot a little earlier. Again, the judges are looking for release moves, fluid swing, multiple hand changes. And her dismount, a giant flyaway with a full twist. Very clean performance, not a lot of difficulty. Last year, Cal finished 7th out of 7 teams in the Pac-10, and that really isn't a statement on their lack of depth, but really just the Pac-10 conference is so competitive. There's her dismount, a flyaway with a full twist. Nice and clean, but again, not very difficult. Head coach Alfie Mitchell, in his 3 years at Cal, has gotten the team back to regionals, and that's his major goal.
Arizona is on the vault. This is Darcy Wamsgans, senior out of Lee Summit, Missouri, just a little bit east of Kansas City. A year ago, the Pac-10 vault champion.
She shared that title with ASU's Katie Freeland and also Lisa Washington from Cal. And Arizona as a team is ranked number 9 in the nation on the vault. They look very impressive to me tonight. I saw them compete earlier this season, and they haven't been to nationals in the last few years, which is very rare, but they will get there this year. And here's her vault, a handspring front in the tuck position. A nice vault, but it's only worth a 9.9. Vaults are valued at a certain designated score. So even if she performed this vault perfectly, that's the highest score she could get. Little leg separation. She gets a lot of height, though, knows where the ground is, and takes a hop. Just some minor deductions there.
California's Candace Kwok a moment ago on the bars registered a score of 9.675.
Now Darcy is capable of performing a handspring front in the pike position. Let's see if she does it on her second vault. She scored a 9.7, a very good score. Keep in mind that vault is only worth a 9.9, so only 2/10 deduction. Not bad at all.
Darcy, who spends her free time water skiing and jet skiing, loves to shop, and would love to stick a landing on the vault.
And that's what she's thinking of right now. Remember, the judges want to see lots of air time, height off of the horse, distance away from the horse. And there it is, a pike, and she sat it down. Didn't have enough rotation, or heel drive, as it's called. On your pre-flight on the horse, you want to kick your heels behind your head as much as you can, and that's what gets you the proper momentum. This is what I'm talking about. Watch this, heels behind your head, right there. See, she's a little slow in her heel drive. She really starts to flip before she actually pushes all the way through her hands, and that's why she didn't rotate all the way around.
Now the Bears this year finished 15-6 under third-year head coach Alfie Mitchell.
As for Arizona, Darcy will keep the score of her first vault, which was a 9.7.
Now Arizona's Darcy Wamsgans will take her first vault of 9.7. And her teammate Jessica Marshall.
Last year, Arizona finished 3rd at the 95 Pac-10s, which was a tremendous improvement from the previous year because they've had a tough couple of seasons, but they are back, as I said. Jessica Marshall doing a handspring front tuck. Same first vault as Darcy. Nice job. Lots of height and lots of distance, but had to step on the landing. Again, that vault is only valued at a 9.9. See, the push off of the horse is excellent. Lots of height, and she opens it up anticipating the landing. This is what the judges are looking for. Right there, that push gets her up and gets her out, and that's what they want to see. So much momentum, she had to take a big step.
Now Jim Galt, there he is in his 16th season as head coach of the Arizona Wildcats. Boy, what a year he had. 21-2 this year. But Maura, he's still trying to get the Wildcat program back to where it used to be.
Absolutely. And this year they look poised to do just that. In 1995, Jim Galt was the Pac-10 Gymnastics chairman, and he's always been very involved as a representative. You know, he doesn't just show up and coach. He cares about how the sport is governed and how championships are run. Very well respected in this conference. Beautiful vault. That was really done just about as well as it could be done. Let's see if she gets the perfect 9.9. That would be a perfect score for that. Take a look at it from this angle and see what happened. Nice push. Excellent landing. What a beautiful vault. Jessica has to be happy with that.
A 9.825 for Jessica Marshall, who says in the not too distant future she'd love to teach snow skiing. We'll be back. Welcome back to Gill Coliseum. UCLA's Leah Homa, the 1994 all-around Pac-10 champion, is on the floor.
Leah is going to try to rebound from her balance beam performance. She opens up with a double pike to a beautiful landing. She is phenomenal on this event. Watch her expression of movement, amplitude. We love that word in gymnastics. It means fullness of movement, and she has it all. Her leaps, her jumps, her toe point. She gives very little away.
Well, watch the smooth style, the lines, and the grace of Leah Homa.
She is famous for that. Her second tumbling pass, a front layout to it. She had a little problem there. It looked like her feet slipped, but she recovered very well. This is one of her signature moves. Head coach Valerie Condos, one of the premier choreographers in the country, and there you see it, the Homa flares. That is so difficult to do, requires so much upper body strength. Valerie Condos has an incredible ability of defining a style for each gymnast that really suits their strengths. And she ends with a double full, really clean. You can see her legs didn't come apart. Not many deductions there. A beautiful routine for Leah Homa.
Now 2 years ago, she was the conference all-around champion.
Leah has actually suffered from some ankle difficulties. She has some problems with her ankles, and she's capable of doing a double layout. Here's her second pass. See what happened? Her feet slipped a little there after her layout into her punch front. Again, front tumbling is difficult because you can't see the ground. It's completely blind. But she ends with a double full, legs together. Nice job. She seems to be limping a little bit. I think she's suffering again, as I said, from ankle pain, and it seems to be bothering her.
Now Leah Homa and her teammate Stella Ume, they competed against each other on club teams and together on the national Canadian team. Still as different as night and day when it comes to the floor exercise, but I'll tell you what, both of them are extraordinary in their individual way.
Absolutely, and Stella Ume's routine was choreographed by her sister, Anastasia.
Leah Homa's score, incidentally, was a 9.875.
She is also the defending national champion on the floor exercise, and watch the energy and style of this routine. And watch this tumbling pass. A double layout. Oh my! Like a walk in the park for her. She makes it look so easy. I can't tell you how difficult that is. The way she and her sister choreograph her routine is they just turn the music on and she starts moving. And before it's over, they have a full floor routine.
Leah says Stella's a real risk taker. Says she has the highest difficulty on the college scene, Maura.
Absolutely the truth. No arguing with that. It's the international experience and confidence that allows her to do that. That is so difficult. She took a whip back into an immediate double top as her last tumbling pass. She's so in tune with her body movements and her expression. Her personality is revealed through her dance. thought she was done. She is not. Talk about risk-taking. She's doing 4 tumbling passes. You're only required to do 2 in college. She ends with a 2.5 twist, a little off to the side, a little bit of a stumble. What an outstanding performer. And Stella's a little bit upset because of that stumble on her last tumbling pass. But really not a major deduction, up to about 1/10.
Greeted by her head coach, Valerie Condos. Boy, her first pass was so indicative of what she's capable of doing.
She is pure power. I think she has springs in her legs. Watch this. A double layout, 2 flips, completely stretched position, boom. Very nonchalantly just does a double layout. And her second tumbling pass, watch this, a whip back through to a double tuck. Unbelievable. That is so difficult to do. You have to have springs in your legs to do that. I'm convinced.
A 9.85 for Stella Ume, our defending Pac-10 and NCAA champion. A moment ago, Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek in contention for the all-around on the vault. Her first was a 9.775.
She does a handspring front in the pike position. Wow, what a vault. Great landing. Really nicely done.
And her score on the vault, a 9.875 for Heidi Hornbeek of the Wildcats of Arizona. Well, don't go away. Maura and I will be returning to Gill Coliseum in Corvallis with more of the Pac-10 championships. And that's precisely what Oregon State has done through 3 rotations. They are attacking this Pac-10 field as they are in first place after 3 with a team score of 98.225. In the race for the all-around honors, it is Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek with a score of 19.725. Amy Slack of Oregon State close behind, followed by Carrie Monahan, also tied for second. Then comes Candace Kwok of Cal, Stanford's Katie Fitzpatrick, Carolee Hayashi of UCLA, and Stella Ume of UCLA. Well, the vault requires speed, quickness, and explosive power. And that's precisely what the Sun Devils have put together here in 1996. This is Megan Wright, her career best, a 9.9.
ASU is actually the highest ranked team on the vault in the entire Pac-10. They're ranked number 4. She does a handspring front with a half twist, a little different variation than what we've been seeing. That is valued at a perfect 10.0. Much easier actually to land, because what happens when you're twisting in the air, you can see the ground, and so you can anticipate the land. Watch, I'll show you exactly what I mean. She pushes off the horse, does a front tuck with a half twist, sees the ground, and then is able to stand it up more easily than if she were rotating forward. Nice push, a lot of height, sees the ground. Nice job.
A 9.725 for Megan Wright in her first vault.
And on her second attempt, I think she'll try to clean it up, keep her legs together on the pre-flight, and of course, nail that landing. She did just that, kept her legs together on the pre-flight. I think that was a better vault, a lot more distance.
Arizona State, Maura, has really come on. They were a very slow starting team with a very young group, but they've won their last 4 meets.
And here's another look at it. You can see she kept her legs together a little bit better there. She only grabbed one of her knees, though, but that wasn't a big deal.
A 9.725 for Megan Wright. Let's go across the floor where Arizona, number 6 in the country on the bars. And this is Heidi Hornbeek. She is currently number 1 in the race for the 1996 Pac-10 all-around title.
And Arizona, as a team, is in the hunt for the title. They have never finished higher than second, so they've never won the Pac-10 title. Right now, it's between OSU and Arizona. Heidi is certainly making her imprint in the Pac-10. That's a giant hop. It's also called the Miller, into another immediate one, into a Ginger. A very valuable combination. 2 E elements followed by a D element. Lots of bonus right there off the top. And a full twisting double back, a full out. What a beautiful routine. Lots of difficulty and nice execution. Outstanding. The team is thrilled. Head coach Jim Galt is happy about that as well. Watch this. She does a giant swing, completely releases. This is actually her Ginger, which is followed by 2 Miller hops. And her dismount, she does a full out, a back tuck, double back with a full on the second somersault. That's an E dismount.
Heidi Hornbeek's score, a 9.925.
A testament to her routine being jam-packed with difficulty. She had it all.
Now, you talked a moment ago, Arizona. Under the direction of Jim Galt, the best they've ever finished is number 2 in the Pac-10 championships. They're 6th in the NCAAs on this particular apparatus.
Jim has been named Pac-10 Coach of the Year in 89, 90, 93, and 94, and has also been nominated as Coach of the Year by the National Association of Collegiate Gymnastics Coaches in 86 and 87.
Arizona State still on the vault, where sophomore Carrie Courtney out of Garland, Texas, is set to approach the vault. Powerful performer on the vault. Last year scored a career high 9.75 against Brigham Young.
This season has gone as high as 9.925, which is tied for the 7th highest score in the Pac-10 conference this season. I feel the Pac-10 is one of the toughest conferences in the country gymnastically to compete in terms of the level and caliber of competition. As we noted at the top 17, 6 of them ranked in the top 20. Didn't quite get it around. A 5/10 deduction, handspring front in the pike position. You can see we're seeing a lot of the same vaults because obviously the idea is to do a 10-0 vault, and handspring front pike is a 10-0 vault, so many of the college gymnasts perform it. Let's see what happens. She gets good push, doesn't seem to get too tight in the pike, and opens up a little early, which is what made her under-rotated. Now you really want to be precise here, so she needs to get her chest to her knees. She didn't quite do it there. Opens up early and sits it down.
9.175 for Courtney.
Now this time she's really going to try to rotate quicker. And what happens, though, again, because she's traveling forward, if she overcompensates, she could over-rotate this time. It's a really tough balance when you're traveling forward in the handspring front pike position.
Makes that a 9.125 for Courtney as the score changes.
You know, Phil, these conference championships are very important because the top teams in your conference will most likely have to be reckoned with at regionals, which are 2 weeks away. And it's a great way to see how you match up before the regionals and, of course, nationals. And in college gymnastics, regionals means everything. It's all or nothing at regionals. See what happens here. Same vault. Nice job. So much better. You could see she was crisper getting into her pike and opening up, anticipating the landing. Coach
John Spini liked it.
He's saying, that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I told you what to do. Let's see what happens here. She gets into her pike quickly, opens it up, anticipating the ground, and stands it up nicely. Good heel drive. Nice in pike, opening it up. Good job.
A 9.85 for Carrie Courtney of Arizona State. We're coming back to Corvallis, Oregon in a moment. Welcome back to Gill Coliseum. Along with Maura Driscoll, I'm Phil Stone, and these are the Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championship. Oregon State is on the beam. This is Amy Slack.
Phil, Oregon State has returned their entire beam squad from last year, and they finished 6th in the nation at nationals. On that beam squad, there are 4 All-Americans, so we're talking about a tough beam team. Amy Slack, their only all-arounder on this team of specialists. The nice thing about Oregon State, though, is it truly is a team effort because most of their gymnasts compete just 1 or 2 events. Comes a jump combination. Important thing on the balance beam is not to hold back, because believe it or not, when you hold back, that's when you have problems. Nice switch side leap. She's feeling for the end of the beam as she sets up for her dismount. A double full to a nice landing. And the roar of the crowd.
What a feeling it must be to perform and perform well in front of a hometown crowd. It roars its approval.
Amy Slack actually has the team's highest beam score to date with a 9.95. You can see her dismount 4 inches wide. That balance beam is 4 feet off the ground, and she gets up a little higher with a double twist and a nice landing.
Slack, a sophomore out of Pittsburgh, California, majoring in exercise and sports science.
In Jim Turpin's words, Amy Slack has been a diamond in the rough.
And Slack's score, 9.825. Oregon State just continuing to tighten its vice-like hold on the top spot in the race for the team honors. And here is teammate Megan Murphy.
Again, in the home arena, the crowd and the music and all of that doesn't bother you if they're cheering for you on the balance beam. The important thing here is to simulate your workout experience. Here comes her acrobatic series. Nicely done, right on the money. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. She's actually ranked number 18 in the nation as a freshman on the balance beam. Usually the balance beam is about experience, and she doesn't have much in the college ranks as a freshman, but she's obviously proven herself with her 18th ranking. Megan Murphy actually graduated high school in 3 years, Phil.
And that's saying something when you are not only pursuing academics, but gymnastics as well, which takes an inordinate amount of time.
Absolutely. Believe it or not, she recently tore cartilage in her knee a couple of weeks ago and opted not to have any surgery done. I think the doctors think that she's fine to go, and she certainly looks fine to go here. And she finishes with a front full off the end of the beam.
Maura, you touched on it a little while back. The Oregon State Beavers are simply in a zone tonight as this crowd is coming to its feet.
They are unshakable on the beam.
And while they roar the approval of Megan Murphy, this is Washington's Clara Kudilkova on the floor for the Huskies.
She opens up with a full twisting double back in the pike position. Very difficult first tumbling run. I guess to get through this, she can pretend they're cheering for her, but they're excited about the Oregon State Beavers and their recent beam performance. In 1992, Clara won a national championship on the floor exercise for the Czech Republic. Again, you can really sense her European flair, especially on the floor exercise. Front tumbling. Really nice, clean, concise. In 1995, she had 3 of Washington's top 5 scores on the floor exercise.
A moment ago, Megan Murphy of Oregon State on the beam with that wonderful routine had a score of 9.9.
Finishes her routine with a double full to an immediate punch front. Lots of difficulty, really nice execution. Nice routine for Clara.
Clara Kudilkova of the Washington Huskies. And she will wrap up the 4th rotation for the Huskies.
Take a look at her second pass. This is front tumbling. It's worth a lot of bonus, which is why we see it a lot. She does a front full to an immediate punch front. And her last tumbling pass, a really strong finish. It's a double full, and then when she lands, she changes directions immediately to a punch front. Difficult to do because you're shifting gears so quickly.
Stanford at the floor exercise with Oregon State.
is Clara. And while we await her score, we told you a moment ago, Megan Murphy of Oregon State with that thunderous applause with a 9.9. Arizona State's Katie Freeland on the vault matched it with a 9.9. And there is Kudilkova and her score 9.85. The Pac-10 Women's Gymnastics Championships roll on from Corvallis. We'll return in a moment. The host Beavers of Oregon State out in front of Arizona, 147.425 to 146.875. Keep in mind the rest of the field has not completed its fourth rotation. In the hunt for the all-around, it is still Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek, a scant 0.02 of a point in front of Oregon State's Amy Slack. Maureen Keeley, Michelle Freeland, Clara Kudilkova, Carrie Monahan of Stanford, and Cal's Candace Kwok round out the top 7. The big news there, neither Stella Ume or Leah Homa is in the run for the all-around. And this is Stella Ume. She had a 9.675 on her first vault. And keep in mind, the vault is not UCLA's strongest event here in 1996. Here's Stella.
She does a handspring front in the tuck position. A nice vault, but this is actually Stella's weakest event as well. That vault is only valued at a 9.9. But I need to note that it's very difficult for these elite gymnasts, these international stars, to vault in college because the round-off entry vaults are not allowed in the college ranks. So you have to relearn it. She has so much power. She got lots of height, a little cowboying, but where the judges sit, she cannot. They cannot see the fact that she separates her legs.
Well, she'll have to take the 9.7 because it is the best of her two vaults. And this is Kiralee Hayashi.
But really a good score, the 9.7 for Stella, because it's only worth a 9.9. So 0.2 deduction is not too shabby. Kiralee Hayashi is expected to fill the shoes of the graduating Karima Marrow, who was an absolute star at UCLA. She does a handspring front with a half twist. It's worth a 10.0, a little low on her landing. Getting a few pointers from Anton, her assistant coach. That is worth a 10.0, as I said, and easier to land because you can see the ground. And here it is. She does a handspring. She twists a little bit early there and wasn't able to get up as much, which is why she's a little bit low on the landing. So you can see she twists right off of the horse. What you want to do is push all the way through your shoulders, do the front flip, and then do the half twist. Technically speaking, the judges, I think, saw the same thing, a 9.65. This is a 10.0 vault, so if she does it well, if she does it perfectly, she could get a 10, but she's really going to focus on cleaning it up in the air and, of course, nailing the landing. Oh, a little bit more difficulty on this one. 5/10 deduction for the fall. She's twisting too soon off of the horse.
And you saw her wince when she got up. Boy, just look at her left eye twitch there. I think she might have shaken something loose there.
Let's see exactly what happened. Now watch what I mean here. She twists too quickly. You see right there, she starts to twist before she actually pushes. She grabs her leg almost like she's flipping backwards, and one leg landed before the other, and she had to actually, it looks like her feet, her legs and her face kind of landed at the same time. Twist a little early, really doesn't tuck her legs.
An 8.75 on her second vault, so she too will take her first vault of 9.65.
UCLA doesn't have much room to make mistakes here. They really need to come up big in these final performances if they want to stay in the top 3.
Arizona State is on the uneven bars, and here's Megan Wright.
Remember, Megan Wright finished second in the all-around last year at this very competition. Having a good night tonight so far.
Thanks.
ASU as a team on the uneven bars ranked number 18 in the nation. She does an uprise to handstand. Setting up for a release move. There's one. A Miller hop into a Ginger. That's the exact combination that two-time world champion Shannon Miller popularized. Transition from low bar to high bar. And a full twisting double back. Has to take a few steps, but a nice routine. Her teammates are pleased.
Now, Megan Wright a year ago set career highs of 9.9 on the vault, 9.975 on the bars, a career best of 9.825 on the beam. She had a great 1985, and she's trying to duplicate it here in 96.
And there's her release move, a Ginger. It came right out of a giant hop full, which is called the Miller, because Shannon Miller did it first.
A 9.8 for Megan Wright. UCLA's Leah Homa is set to attack the vault. There's Megan Wright's score of 9.8.
And here's the 1995 Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year, Leah Homa. She'll be performing a handspring front pike as well. Really nice. She can do this vault so well. She's very crisp and very clean in the air. She has excellent execution and quick action. She knows exactly where she is in the air, which of course is the trick with this particular skill. Nice and tight. Her legs are together, her toes are pointed. A little bitty hop on the landing. Legs came apart on the pre-flight. Pretty nice landing.
First fall was a 9.75. Well, UCLA over the years, just decades of excellent. Sharon Shapiro, Kim Hamilton, Tanya Service, Jill Andrews, Amy Thorne, Megan Fenton, and Karima Merrill. And before it's over, this young lady will etch her name alongside those Bruin greats.
UCLA has dominated the Pac-10 Conference Championships. In fact, they've never finished lower than third. And that same thing. I mean, really nice positioning in the air, nice height, nice distance, but a little bit of a hop on the landing. But I think that was a little bit better. We'll be able to see exactly if this was a little bit better. Nice push off the horse, tight body position, seemed to get a little bit more distance. I think that was a better vault. Let's see what the judges think. She's so clean. As I was saying, UCLA has never finished lower than third. I think the judges thought it was better, Phil.
Indeed they did. A 9.9 for Homa. So while the Bruins rejoice temporarily, still the concern registers. It is the Beavers of Oregon State. We'll be back. What a wonderful crowd on hand here tonight at Gill Coliseum here in Corvallis, Oregon for the 1996 renewal of the Women's Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships. I'm Phil Stone along with Maura Driscoll, and what a night it has been thus far. Oregon State has proved to be the perfect hosts.
This is Carrie Monahan on the floor exercise for Stanford University, their top all-arounder. Having a good night so far.
Carrie earlier this year had a 9.9 on the floor, so Stanford, this is unquestionably their best event.
And as I said, they could surprise a lot of people tonight. They have a young team with a lot of talent. Next year, Phil, their team is going to be incredible. They're getting Amy Chow and Larissa Fontaine, 2 world championship team members, another national team member. So they will springboard onto the national scene next year if it doesn't happen this year.
Now, earlier this year, Stanford set a school record of 195.35 against Arizona State. So as you say, Maura, the Cardinal is very capable of surprising some people.
They have almost upset Oregon State earlier this year. She opens with a front through to a double pike. I think she might have stepped out of bounds there, which would be a 1/10 deduction. This team has been fired up to come into this meet. They have lost to many of the Pac-10 teams during the regular season, but not by more than 0.3 of a point. That is nothing in gymnastics. So they really were motivated to come in and make a statement. Second tumbling pass, a whip back through to a double full. far her routine has enough difficulty. She's performing well, clean. As I said earlier, 2 of her all-around scores this season rank among the top 8 in the Pac-10. In fact, her score of 39.475, her highest, is second highest in the Pac-10 all season. She finishes with a front full, a little low on the landing, but that's a D element. A solid performance, a nice routine for Carrie Monahan.
The psychology major out of Laurel Springs, New Jersey. And her Stanford teammates appreciate what they have just seen from Carrie Monahan.
And her second tumbling pass is a whip back through to a double full. Nice combination difficulty. And her last tumbling pass is front tumbling, which we're seeing a lot of because it's valuable. The gymnasts have to have 2 Ds in their routine. That's a front full, a little off to the side, and has to step, a slight deduction there. Stanford is led by head coach Elisa Izzy, who is in her first year as a head coach, but she was an assistant coach for 4 years. She was a stud gymnast of her own, I should say. Lisa Mitzel of the University of Utah, 6-time All-American, and now she's coaching at Stanford.
And here's Cal on the beam. This is Candace Kwok. Now the Bears under third-year head coach Alfie Mitchell. Incidentally, Monahan had a 9.7 for Stanford on the floor.
On the balance beam, Cal and Candace Kwok she's very clean. She has gone as high as 9.9 this season. Cal is not ranked in the top 20 on the balance beam.
You know, Mara, Cal is 7th out of the 17th in the Pac-10 conference, but they're 25th in the country in gymnastics. So testimony to just how difficult the Pac-10 conference is.
Pac-10 is one of the strongest gymnastic conferences in the country. And, you know, I think the only other conference that probably has the Pac-10 beat is the SEC, with Georgia and Alabama ranked number 1 and number 2. And this is great training for these teams because it's getting them ready for the regional meet. The regionals is exactly like the Pac-10 championships because there are only 7 teams. Really nice gainer layout step out. See how clean she is. The idea is not to give the judges any reason to deduct. Pretty jump series. The reason the regional meet is so important, Phil, is because it's all or nothing at regionals. They call it new life at regionals. Just like the NCAA basketball tournament, the record goes away once you get to regionals, and that determines your berth to nationals. A little off to the side on a round-off double full dismount.
Now she's greeted there by teammate Wendy Ornelas. They were club teammates when they were younger.
And they came in as freshmen together.
Yes, they did.
At California. Her dismount, you can see she's a little off to the side there, but not a big deal. Nice high double full, but steps off to the side, about a 1/10 deduction on the landing.
Candace, one of 6 children of Patrick and Susan Kwok of Saratoga, California. Candace born in Berkeley, so it's fitting that she didn't stray too far from there, did she?
That's right, and head coach Alfie Mitchell is certainly glad that he's on their squad. In his first season as head coach of Cal, he earned Pac-10 and West Regional Coach of the Year honors, so you can see what his peers think of him.
A 9.75 for Candace Kwok.
A terrific score.
Al, earlier, this is UCLA's Dee Fisher on the vault. And watch.
She floats in the air. Whoa, what a landing. Handspring front pike. Really nice. She knows how to do this vault extremely well. Lots of height, tight legs, anticipates the ground, and stands it up perfectly. Not much margin for deductions.
And look at that score, a 9.95, a new season best for Dee Fisher. We're coming back in a moment. Chalking up. The Pac-10 Gymnastics Championships continue here from Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, Oregon after 5 rotations. Take a look. Oregon State trying to win its 4th Pac-10 championship ever with a comfortable lead over Arizona and Arizona State. The surprise is that UCLA is buried in the number 4 spot. In the race for the all-around, it is Heidi Hornbeek. She has led it since the first rotation with a slim lead over Arizona State's Katie Friedland. Amy Slack is in 3rd place. To the bar competition, this is UCLA's Dee Fisher.
Keep in mind, Phil, UCLA had the strongest national finish last year, finishing 4th in the nation at nationals. So this is really disappointing, I think, for UCLA. We just saw Dee Fisher on the vault with a huge 9.95, and now on the uneven bars. She works with her hands very close together. Here comes her big release move, a Jaeger, really beautifully done. Lots of height there. A little over on the handstand. Oh, she pulled it back. Nice recovery. And a double pike dismount to a nice landing. She really saved that handstand on the top. Way to fight for Dee Fisher.
Well, she had a great one to learn from. 1993 Pac-10 bars champion and 10-scorer Megan Fenton, now an assistant coach for the Bruins of UCLA.
You can see she works with her hands really close together. She does a front giant into a Jaeger. So much height. Really well done. That's the way you want to perform a release move. Lots of height. It really increases the risk. And that's what the judges like to see. And a nice high double pike. Sees the ground. Nice landing.
A good one for UCLA's Dee Fisher on the bars.
Now UCLA really wants to focus on this event because they want to get to the number 3 spot. They have never finished lower than 3rd in the Pac-10 championships. This is the 10th year of the championships.
A 9.8 for Fisher. And that clears the way for teammate Stella Ume.
That's a very good score for Dee Fisher. She's 4th in the lineup. And as the lineup goes, the routines and the scores usually get better as we go further on in the lineup.
Here's the defending Pac-10 champion on this event. She earned All-American honors with a 6th place finish last year at the NCAAs.
And everything she does on this event, Phil, is big. Her release moves, her swing, everything huge. Nice giant folds right on the top of the bar. There's that Tkachev. Clean, tight body positions. Giant half right on the top of, right to the handstand. These are the things that separate gymnasts like Stella Ume and Leah Homa. They don't fall shy of anything. They hit the handstands. And there's her 2nd release move with Tkachev. And watch her dismount. A double full to a perfect nail that landing.
Well, it's one of the few things Stella Ume has had to smile about tonight. It has been a subpar night for Stella, but boy, on the bars, she's superb.
And watch her height. Perfect technique. This event is so much about timing. She releases perfectly, gets lots of height. And her dismount is a flyaway double full, and she stands it up perfectly without a budge.
A 9.95 for Stella Ume. On the beam, it's Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek as she continues her methodical move towards an all-around championship.
She has been leading the all-around all night long. Really making a statement in her freshman season here at the Pac-10 championships.
And you know, Maura, she knows what we know because there was a large scoreboard here at both ends of Gill Coliseum, and you have to believe she's glanced up there at least once or twice.
I'm sure she has. Actually, on the balance beam, Phil, this is the only event she is not ranked nationally on. And she finished 3rd on the balance beam at the World University Games. Again, keep in mind, as the crowd roars for the Oregon State Beavers on the floor exercise, Heidi Hornbeek needs to keep focused and have the mental concentration that's required for this event. Very difficult to do. 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground. And here comes her first acrobatic series. Back handspring, layout, step out. I think she wanted to go into another back handspring there, but she was a little off to the side, so that was a smart adjustment. Switch leg leap. She dropped a shoulder a little. Remember, you want to keep your center of gravity directly over the balance beam, because if you let anything get out of alignment, so goes your body and you're off with a 5/10 deduction. Round up back handspring on the beam. Nicely done. That's called a Gym Acro Series, part gymnastics, part acrobatics, where she did a jump into an immediate back handspring. On her first acrobatic series, she was supposed to do a back handspring, layout, step out, 2 layouts in a row. And a double back dismount, ooh, a little bit short, and almost ran right back into the beam. But she stayed on and really came out well after 4 events of top performing. Her dismount is a double tuck. She landed a little low. We'll see exactly what happened. She gets a lot of height, but her chest is low and she jumps a little bit forward toward the beam.
And while we await Heidi Hornbeek's score, let's go to the floor exercise where Oregon State's first 4 performers have absolutely shot lights out. Here is Amy Slack, 3rd in the all-around. Earlier this year, she had a 9.85 versus the Bears of California.
And let's see what she opens her floor routine with. A double pike, beautifully clean. Wow, that was nice. You know, Jim Turpin said to me, his toughest job all season long has been picking his lineup, because they're so deep on every event. Nice life, Jim. That's a good problem for a coach to have.
Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek a moment ago on the beam scored a 9.85.
Amy is really pretty to watch, clean and consistent. The 2 words that we love in the sport of gymnastics. Barani. See the gymnast doing a lot of bonus jumping elements, and that's a way to raise the value of your routine. The way it works in collegiate gymnastics is you have all your requirements. You start out with a base score of 9.6, and then it's up to you to raise the value to a perfect 10. She saves that there by not going out of bounds. And a dramatic finish to a dramatic routine for Amy Slack.
Oregon State tonight excelling on the floor, and they're doing it without any real bona fide superstars. This 1996 edition does not have a Joyce Seelig or a Shari Knight, but boy, they sure have a lot of terrific athletes.
And here's her last tumbling pass, where she does a double full and has a chance to step out of line, but she really didn't step out of the line. You actually have to cross the tape to get the 1/10 deduction, so she recovered.
And Amy Slack, while she will not take the lead over Arizona's Heidi Hornbeek, she will close the margin. A 9.85 for Slack. Don't go away. We're coming back to Corvallis, Oregon. An absolutely tremendous 1996 Women's Pac-10 Gymnastics Championship as we go back to the floor where Oregon State's Anne-Marie Vasallo is about to take center stage. She has scored a 9.7 7 times this year and has hit 9.9 once.
Anne-Marie is a 2-event specialist where she focuses on vault and floor exercise, the 2 power events. A whip through a double tuck, strong opening tumbling run. She holds Oregon State's highest floor score this season with a 9.9. She comes right back with a strong double pike. She is capable of doing a full twisting double back. She's not competing in here. I don't think OSU needs it. They are on fire tonight, Phil.
Indeed they are.
Jim Turpin, and he said this team has been adding and increasing difficulty all season long. They made it to the Super 6 finals at the championships last year, which is really like the Final Four in college basketball. But to be competitive among the top 6, you need to crank up the difficulty, and that's exactly what they're doing, which is really not what they've done over the years. They've kind of been traditionally a safe and clean team, but they have it all this season. Finishes with a double full. A beautiful floor routine for Anne-Marie Vassallo, and she gave herself a hand.
Well, the Beavers of Oregon State opened this competition earlier tonight with a very strong vault performance. And I'll tell you, they have kept the intensity throughout.
Head coach Jim Turpin has to be excited about the performance of this team.
I don't know what that last routine.
You know, having a team of specialists.
You just get the feeling, Maura, that somebody from that group right there is going to emerge as the next Oregon State superstar gymnast.
As a team of specialists, though, Phil, there is a risk. In one way, it saves your body because you only have to do 1 or 2 events. But it's hard to stay up in a competition when you're only competing 1 event.
A 9.85 for Anne-Marie Vassallo. Now, don't go away. This huge crowd here at Corvallis still awaiting the outcome of these Pac-10s. It has been a sensational night for that man right there. Jim Turpin, the head coach of Oregon State, has just watched as his Beavers have clinched the Pac-10 championship here tonight. And they did it in grand style, setting a school record 196.775 on Oregon State and a Pac-10 championship team total. So Oregon State flexes. Maura, you said at the outset that the Beavers could dominate, and they did.
Absolutely. And UCLA in 3rd, tying their worst finish ever, actually.
And in the all-around, it is Heidi Hornbeek of Arizona. Take a look at that total, 39.5 over Oregon State's Amy Slack. Leahoma finished 3rd with teammate Kirali Hayashi right behind her. Stella Ume came up to capture 5th place. Kara Kudilkova of Washington and Katie Freeland of Arizona State rounding out the top 7 in this 1996 all-around championship. And Oregon State, they did it, and they did it in grand style here at home. 196.775. Whoa, what a score.
And there's nothing sweeter than taking the title in front of your home crowd.
And here is Arizona State's Katie Freeland on the beam. Her career best, a 9.85, and she is in line, Maura, to possibly garner Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year honors. And if she does, she'll become the first Arizona State Sun Devil to ever capture Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year honors.
And that would be a tremendous honor for her. She has been an excellent all-arounder for 4 years for the Sun Devil squad. In fact, her senior year has been her best yet. She's very clean and consistent on the balance beam and very dependable, which is a coach's dream. You can really count on her in the clutch. Does a back handspring into an immediate jump. Another jump there, solid, consistent. Blocking out the sound behind her on the floor exercise. A nice switch side leap. Katie has been a true leader all season long. Arizona State has had some struggles on the balance beam, but she certainly has stayed on, and really a nice routine. She ends with a Rudy.
For Katie Freeland, a 9.75. For Washington, this is Stacy Connolly.
Stacy Connolly is a senior this year, and she has the distinction of earning the first perfect 10 in Husky history, and that score came on this event, the uneven bars, as a freshman.
Now she's one of those old seniors out of Tucson, Arizona.
There's an uprise to handstand. A giant full right on the top of the bar into an immediate Takachev. And there's what she's famous for, stalled her work. She just stalled her and then changed her hands to a hop. She's really moving nicely. Clean lines, her legs are together. Stacy is taller than most of the gymnasts here, so she looks really nice in this event. Really nice routine until her dismount. She had to suffer a fall, a 5/10 deduction. Wasn't able to get her double tuck all the way around. Let's see what happened here on her dismount. She leads into doing a giant swing. And a double tuck, looks nice and high, but looks like she just kind of opened up a little, let her chest drop, and had to put her hands down.
She talks about one of her greatest accomplishments at the University of Washington, Mara, is gaining admission to the mechanical engineering department at UW. That is no easy task.
As you can see, that's a good score. 9-4 with a fall is pretty impressive.
And you're looking at her teammate, Klara Kudilkova.
Klara from the Czech Republic has the 6th highest all-around score in the Pac-10 this season with a 39.325.
Yeah, won her national championship on the floor and took 2nd on the bars and 3rd on the beam at the 92 national championship meet.
And she does an uprise to handstand, a little shy of the handstand there. Her release move, a Ginger, and keep swinging. This event really has been transformed over the years. The women are swinging the uneven bars much like the men swing high bars, with giant swings and release moves and big high-flying skills. And there's another one, a double back, a nice landing. She has put forth a solid performance, really a terrific job all night long for Klara.
Now the Huskies came into this meet, Mara, with a record of 10-6. Just 2 years ago, they made it to the NCAAs out of the West Regionals.
And here we'll take a look at her release move. It's called a Ginger. And an overshoot to handstand. A little shy of the handstand. It's not a deduction, it's just more valuable if you actually get to the handstand in terms of tenths.
For Kudilkova on the bars, a 9.825.
And there she is, saying hello to her mother, Heidi Hornbeek, the new 1996 Pac-10 all-around champion. Boy, did she announce her presence with authority. Just a freshman, tons of talent in the Pac-10 conference, and she walks away with the crown.
That's a good point. She really established her superiority on the very first event of the night. Arizona started on the floor. Heidi grabbed the lead on the floor exercise, and she said, "Come and get me." And nobody could catch her.
Catch me if you can. Isn't that the truth? Arizona as a team has to be so excited, though, because their birth to nationals is really becoming a reality.
Here is Megan Wright of Arizona State. Well, the Sun Devils over the years have had some terrific gymnasts. Jackie Brummer, Kim Neal, Lisa Zeiss, Sherry Mann. They've had 8 NCAA individual champions, but they've never won an NCAA championship.
Not as a team. They came pretty close with a 2nd place finish in the past. Nice acrobatic series, right on the money. Even as a freshman last year, Megan Wright had so much composure in terms of competition, and going from club gymnastics to collegiate gymnastics is tough because you have to compete so much more frequently in college, and frankly, it's really tough on your body. I mean, to get yourself up for a meet emotionally and physically week after week is hard to do. There's a little back hip circle. She meant to do that. Looks like an uneven bars skill. The gymnasts are required to do an element down low on the beam. Every event has a series of special requirements. That's her gym acrobatic series. Had a little bit of a problem there. She did a jump into a back tuck. Was a little off to the side. But she's just thinking about staying on right now. A switch side leap. And she feels the back of the beam, getting ready for a dismount, a round off full. Not a very difficult dismount, but she stayed on in a nice routine for Megan.
Megan, another one of those sophomores on John Speeney's team. Yeah, they missed the NCAAs last year by 1 place after finishing 4th at the Midwest Regionals.
And again, regionals is your all or nothing meet. If you blow regionals, you blow your chances to get to nationals. Here's her dismount, a round off full. Not a ton of difficulty there, but really didn't give much away in terms of deductions.
Well, Arizona State over the years, they've had 3 bridesmaid finishes at the NCAAs, Martin. You remember back in 1986 when the Sun Devils were poised to win it and just couldn't quite get there.
And you know, I still think they should have won that year.
Yep.
I remember being there. It was really disappointing. They had 3 of the top stars on the night and just couldn't get it done. It's a whole new ball game once you get to the big dance, as they say.
Cool.
Megan Wright, there she is, certainly has been a bright spot in the Arizona State season.
A 9.775 for Wright.
Come on, Lee. Come on, Lee. Yeah. Come on, Lee. Stop.
And on the floor, the Bears of California. And the last performer of the evening for Cal is Candace Kwok.
Candace Kwok has put forth a really terrific effort all night long. Clean and consistent gymnastics. Remember, she doesn't have as much difficulty as some of these gymnasts, but when you stay on and you're clean, your scores are going to be up there, and that's exactly what has happened this evening.
I'll tell you, credit Alfie Mitchell within his 3rd year putting together a team that really for a long time really was pretty much a lackluster Cal gymnastics team. He's infused it with a great deal of talent, some dynamic choreography, and I think the Bears in the future with this winning attitude are really going to be a force in the Pac-10.
And certainly as they start to improve their team with bigger blue chip recruits,
yes.
I mean, recruiting is everything really. I mean, in gymnastics, a freshman can come in, as we saw tonight with Heidi Hornby, and steal the show. Not much of a transition required as much as, say, in basketball, going from high school to college. Candace is a very pretty dancer, beautiful leaps and jumps. She opens up with a full twisting double back. Actually has to go out of bounds. That's a 1/10 deduction. You see she has the mat there. That is not a deduction. Full twisting double back is a D element. It's worth 1/10 of bonus. You're noticing a lot of really high scores in the college ranks. It is important to note that in college, they go by a different set of rules than the elite or Olympic level in gymnastics. What may be an E element in college maybe is only worth a D, say, in the elite ranks. And they also start out with a 9.6 base score instead of a 9.4. This is the dynamic choreography that you were talking about, Phil. Creative. And that's what the judges want to see. Harmony of music, creative choreography, and high explosive tumbling. A front through to a double full. Candace only performs 2 tumbling passes, and that is all that's required. Most of the gymnasts do 3. A nice routine.
Candace Kwok wraps it up on the floor for the Bears of California. We'll be back in a moment. A freshman from Arizona becomes the first Wildcat ever to win the Pac-10 All-Around Championship. Her name is Heidi Hornby. For 10 years, it's either been UCLA or Oregon State for the Pac-10 team title. And this time around, it was the Beavers demolishing the field. And Maura Driscoll is with the winning coach. Maura?
Jim Turpin, your team was unshakable all night long. A 49 plus on every single event to an all-time school record in the team competition. What did you tell your team coming into this championship meet?
Well, I didn't tell them anything special. Just treat it like practice for nationals, and this is what we're going to do when we get there.
Now, how do you think this particular meet will help you for regionals? It's the same exact format, 7 teams, and regionals means everything. So how did this meet prepare you for regionals and ultimately nationals?
Well, it's just just one more step along the way, and now that they know that they can do it, what I was most proud of is how they did it start to finish, without a superstar, with 24 great performances from 13 wonderful young ladies.
And that is certainly your mark. OSU, a team of specialists, and really truly a team effort. Congratulations once again, and back to Phil.
Oregon State started so strong on the vault and just kept tightening the vise. Congratulations to Heidi Hornbeek, our all-around champion, and to the team winners, the Beavers of Oregon State. For Maura Driscoll, I'm Phil Stone saying so long from Oregon State.